Welcome to Bode's Calgary real estate market update for January 2023. This video is going to show you what's happening in the Calgary property market, and then I'm going to show you where you can find all the data for your local community on bode.ca. But first, what's Bode? For those that don't know, Bode's a tech company that empowers people to buy or sell homes more successfully while also saving them a lot of money. So let's dive in. What's happening in the Calgary market right now? So here on the left-hand side, we're going to take a look at new listings to come to market each month for the last 4 years. You can see this typically follows the same pattern. In 2022, a number of new listings earlier in the year was significantly higher than typical. Then that started to slow down through the middle of the year, and then towards the end of the year, there were lower numbers of new listings than typical for that time of year. So that's really slowed down in recent months, and the last month here in December 2022, new listings down 8% versus the average of the last 4 years. So number of new listings significantly slowing down. Meanwhile, on the sales side, we've seen, again, similar story in the first part of the year, huge numbers of sales relative to normal for that time of year. Sales slowed down a little more slowly than new listings, but you can see right when interest rates started to increase significantly in May onwards, that's what really slowed down sales. And in the most recent month, sales have just been up 5% versus the average of the last 4 years. So you can see 2022 December, not quite as good as 2021's December, but still up a little bit versus the average of the last 4 years. So sales have really slowed down. Obviously, interest rates are the big driver there, but Calgary, relative to other cities around Canada, is doing relatively well thanks to jobs growth, but also thanks to net migration into the province and into Calgary. So sales starting to slow down a little bit. Meanwhile, if we look at total inventory, or the total number of homes for sale, that's 44% lower right now than it would typically be for the end of December. So that's actually one of the lowest number of homes for sale at the end of December that we've seen for over a decade. So only 2,200 homes for sale in the Calgary area right now. So very low levels of inventory. That's because sales have obviously done incredibly well throughout the year. 2022 is the highest year on record for the number of property sales in Calgary. And at the same time, new listings haven't been that high. So that's what's driving this low inventory levels that we see here. Finally, in terms of months of supply, so that's taking a look at, given the number of homes currently for sale and how fast they're selling, how many months would it take to sell through all the available homes? And at the end of December here, we've seen months of supply down about 55% relative to the average of the last 4 years. So it's about just under 2 months of supply of homes, which is very low for this time of year. So that would typically be seen as a seller's market. Obviously, with fewer homes available on the market and homes selling quite quickly, that generally benefits sellers. But we're in a funny environment right now where, because of interest rates going up and there's now fewer buyers out there, it's still considered a seller's market, but perhaps it's more balanced than previous times earlier in the year when months of supply were at a similar level. So what does all that mean for pricing? So if we take a look at Calgary property prices here, charted out for the last 17 years, you can see, obviously, since the pandemic, prices have been doing really well, but in more recent months, again, since interest rates started increasing quickly, prices have started to come back down. But in the most recent month, they're down about 0.3% month over month, and they have been declining month over month now for several months, but they're still up relative to where they were a year ago. So still up 7.8% year over year. Even though they're down 5% from peak prices seen in May. But obviously this is taking a look at Calgary on a citywide perspective, and what matters is what's happening in your local community and with your particular property type. So it's important to take a look at all of your specific data. And you can see all of that on our website, bode.ca. So we have 3 tools where you can find all the data that you need to keep track of your home's value. First one's called market data, and that's where you can see the same supply and demand, as well as price trends that we've been looking at here for Calgary, but you can take a look at those same trends for your local neighborhood. Secondly, we have a page called sold data where you can look up the price of any home that's sold in the last 12 years anywhere in Alberta. So if you want to see what something sold for, or if you see a sold sign go up in your neighborhood, take a look on our site and find out what it sold for. Finally, we have a comparables page where you can enter a few features of your home and see the most similar live listings as well as the most similar recently sold listings. So that'll give you a really good feel for what your home is worth in today's market. So check all of those tools out. If you have any questions, make sure to leave them in the comments below, and feel free to subscribe so you see these future market report videos. Thanks very much.